Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Dr. Karen Can here. I am the founder of the Academy of Light Medicine's TOLPAKAN Healing Method, and I have the great pleasure today to interview one of our graduates, Ron Schlegel, and he is a wonderful, actually, one of the two men that we have certified at this point in time in the TOLPAKAN Healing Method. It's just been a wonderful 6-month journey, training with and alongside Ron and learning more about him, what he does. So we are so pleased to have you here, Ron. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Karen, so much for the opportunity to get certified in TOLPAKAN. Powerful
Uh,
healing modality, yes.
That's so cool. Well, we're going to talk about you today. I know you are, and you'll tell everybody in shortly, like some of your background, but you are very expert at other people, dealing with seeing, feeling other people's issues given your profession prior to Topacan. But let's go back in time and share with us a little bit about like what made you decide to go into the healing arts, if you will.
Yes, I was always very sensitive. I appreciated your book a lot. Sensitivity is your superpower because, when I was younger, I thought of that as a problem that I was so sensitive. Um, my mother was an alcoholic, and I took on the role of being kind of like her rescuer. And I wasn't conscious of it per se, but my sensitivity and my caring and all that, I just wanted to do whatever I could to help her. Um, so eventually, I just decided to go on for a career in the mental health arena. Surprise, surprise. So I was carrying on that role of being the rescuer, in my career. Um, I have had a career as a psychotherapist for over 30 years, and I was working at a VA hospital with veterans who had severe emotional issues, major depression, bipolar, PTSD, and so on. And at some point in my career, because of the work I do and had to look at myself as well as other people, I realized that on a subconscious level, I was just trying to rescue everybody. And I was burning out. I was pretty miserable as a result of that. But when I realized that, I really worked on myself and was able to let go of being the rescuer. And I ended up being better at what I did, letting go of that role. Um, and then I just became more and more committed to learning and growing myself. It wasn't so much about helping other people anymore as it was really changing myself and being the best person I could be. So that was divine plan, obviously, right? Um,
It's amazing how we choose our parents.
yes.
I totally resonate with what you're saying about being the rescuer. I was very much like that for my mom as well. Growing up, she wasn't an alcoholic, but she had a lot of mental illness. So I totally get that. And what a huge shift and growth and joy, really, to get out of that, realize it, first of all, right? To get out of that pattern of codependency and rescuing to be empowered. And so now you're helping others to connect with that power as well. So yes, and you've been very successful career over 30 years in psychotherapy. So what made you decide other types of healing modalities, including Topacan?
Well, I was sensitive, and I also knew that talk therapy was very limited in what it could
Mm,
do. There was other things going on, you know,
yeah.
like even being aware of entities around other people. For example, people with addictions, you could see a lot of them have entities attached to them.
Wow.
Um, so I started, with my own money and my own time, just taking other classes and other trainings, and then starting to integrate that into the work I was doing. It was a little tricky because I worked at a VA and they're very strict about what you can and can't do, and you got to be
Right.
certified and all that. I just didn't tell anybody. So
Smart man.
Um, the psychiatrists, however, were very impressed with the work. They goes, I was afraid of this. They approached me at one point and said, "What are you doing? We haven't seen changes like this before." But I was able to explain a lot of it in terms of the subconscious mind and the power of the subconscious, and they could really buy into that. And they said, you don't have to tell us anymore. That's
Ah, okay.
yeah, so that
Phew.
was nice. Yeah, exactly.
Using their language, right, to explain what it is you did on the
Yeah.
energetic
Yep, yep, yep.
level. Yeah,
Hmm.
so you wouldn't like lose your license or something.
Exactly. Um,
Wow.
so looking back on it all, it was really just a journey of personal transformation and growth
Yeah.
for me, you know. And along the way, from what I learned, I could help other people. That's great. I was happy to do that. And then it gave my work much deeper meaning and purpose.
Mm. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's great. So why Topacan? Why did you decide to become certified?
A friend of mine introduced me to your book, Sensitivity is Your Superpower, and because I was drawn to the title, just because sensitivity has always been an issue for me.
Mm.
Um, and that I said, wow, this is really great. And I decided to have a session. I went with Beth, who's a level 2 practitioner, and I immediately felt, something happen in that session, a big shift. And so I said, I have to take this training. So then I
Mm.
signed up for level 1. And when I was in level 1, my wife and I went on vacation to Costa Rica. And when we were down there, we got diagnosed with COVID. And
Oh,
we were
that's right.
totally wiped out. All we could do is just stay in bed. And here we're on vacation. We want to enjoy our time. So we reached out to Holly, who was able to squeeze us in. And it was magical. It was like a miracle. I felt a shift right away, but the next day when we woke up, it was like, wow, we've got our energy back. And so we went out, we went shopping, and we were able to really enjoy the rest of our vacation. So that was like, this is powerful stuff. And, I'm committed to learning everything I can to be the best practitioner I can be.
Mm.
So I had to move on to level 2. That just made perfect sense.
That's good. Thank you, universe, for getting us wrong. So great. It's amazing when there is a resonance. It's like the universe kind of guides us, right? Like, go over
Yes,
here, go over here. Okay. So it's almost like that COVID experience was like the perfect experience you needed, right? To
yes,
like get you
yes.
over that, like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do this. So that's super cool. Now, Ron, when you were in the 6 month training, we were together. What did you feel was like maybe like the top two experiences you had as a student in the practitioner certification program?
There were many. And it's kind of hard to pinpoint one thing, but one thing that jumps out at me right now is my relationship with my God team.
Mm.
There are directives in Tolpakan, and I was feeling hesitant to always turn to my God team and, do a command or a directive to ask for something, healing for myself or someone else or for something else to shift. It was just, there was something like, okay, uncomfortable about that. And what's was wonderful is, I got this download of information, at that time, the time between when you're awake and falling asleep at night, a lot can happen right there. A lot of information can come through very clearly, and I just heard it very clearly. Um, the thing you have to accept is that we love you, as
Mm.
what was coming from my God team, and that was like, wow, okay, love me. So what do you mean by that? Tell me more. And so what I got is that this is their service. They're doing this through love. This is the medium from which this healing takes place. It comes through love.
Mm.
Um, and they wanted me to fully accept that love, that medium, this channel of healing that's coming through. So then it was very clear that when we're working together with someone, it's a medium of love and service to that person. And there's no um, feeling guilty or like you're taking away something from someone or demanding anything of your God team. It's just a flow, a natural flow of love.
Wow. Yeah, that's really huge. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that can help a lot of people just hearing it coming from
Yes.
you. Wow. Yeah.
Um, we can live most of our lives and not really appreciate love and what that is. So it's helped me broaden my understanding of love and how letting that love flow is a form of service.
Mm. Yeah, I think that you and I are very similar in many ways. And I think, something very similar where I felt like I didn't really like people doing stuff for me because I felt like I
Yes.
should do it for myself. And it's perfectly fine if I did it, if I gave, but it's not so great if somebody else gives to me, if I'm fully capable of doing it myself. And I think in our society, maybe you can, you know, share an insight on that, but I think our society is very much independence as opposed to interdependence, or at least, what one of my teachers said, if there's a giver and there's no receivers, it's unbalanced. So,
Yes.
yeah. Anything else you want to share about your
Yeah,
experiences?
the other thing that was very important to me was understanding that everything that I was feeling was mine. Um,
Hmm.
I wish I would have known that a lot longer. Because I was so sensitive, I just was always picking up on outside energies,
Mm,
from the universe, from society, from in the supermarket, wherever you are. There's just energies everywhere, and I've learned, thank God, from Tobacan, to ask, is this thing that I'm dealing with right now mine or not? And
mm.
then to have the protocols in place to be able to deal with those if they're not mine, to manage that. And that's been huge for me.
Oh, yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, that is great. Awesome. Congrats.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
God. Um,
Yeah, I think that's the crux of harnessing our sensitivities as superpowers, is really realizing what's ours to deal with, what isn't. And sometimes it isn't ours, but we're still in charge of dealing with it because we've contracted,
yes,
to do
correct,
that, like a mini mission or
correct.
things like that. So,
Yeah, just learning to ask is in it my highest good to be able to, to be dealing with this particular emotion. So is very helpful as well.
right. And I can imagine, given your capacity, given your, childhood experience, now being a psychologist for this many years or decades, is that, yeah, that you might have a bigger responsibility, so to speak, or that you choose to. So even if it isn't yours that you're feeling, you can discern that it's not yours, and
Right.
at the same time, may be able to, or could, with full awareness, be able to shift that for something or someone else.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
very cool. Now, I'm just curious, do you have any challenging aspects of going through the program, things that you were like, whoa, okay, this is not easy?
There's so much depth and breadth to Tolpakan, and it's constantly growing and changing thanks to you and your God team. The challenge for me, though, was not feeling like I had a handle on it all the time. So what I learned is, to just go ahead and trust the guidance,
Mm.
listen to that inner guidance and that inner voice, and even though I don't know everything at this point in time, allow things to unfold, and I'll grow and change as Tobacan grows and changes as well.
Oh yeah, that's great advice for all of us. Because things continue to evolve and change. It's something we can probably bet money on that's going to happen. Yeah, and there sometimes is this perception that we should know everything. We're certified, right? Like,
Right, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And to be perfectly honest, Ron, you may not know this, but I forgot stuff that I did 4 years ago. People ask me again, what does this mean? I'm like, let me look it up. I haven't had to deal with it in the last 3 years. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so do you have a favorite one or two like Topocan case studies you want to share? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, the first one I'm going to share is a little bit on the humorous side. My wife wasn't feeling very well a few days ago, and she was laying on the couch and just had no energy, and this was unusual for her. And she warned me. She said, I just don't think I can cook dinner tonight. So I got motivated. I, I went to Topacan and did a series of procedures, protocols, and directives. And about an hour later, she comes to me and she says, "Well, I don't know what you did, but I feel better." And then she ended up cooking dinner, and I'm going, mission accomplished.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Cool, cool. Anything, do you have another one you want to share?
Yeah, on a serious note, I got a call from someone for a free 20-minute strategy call that I offer, and she had been feeling suicidal for over 6 months, and she'd
Oh,
been in and out of psychiatric settings, and was just desperate, looking for an option, an alternative.
mm,
And immediately when we got talking, I sensed that there was an entity attached to her. What was fascinating to me was this entity had committed suicide. And so
wow.
now they were on the other side, right? Might sound strange, but they were trying to commit suicide again through her.
Mm, mm,
And that was because they had not alleviated their suffering, but it
right.
actually was worse for them on the other side. So they were desperate. Um, and even though, I don't normally do treatment in a 20-minute strategy call, I just couldn't leave that alone. So I did the protocol for entity attachments. And I immediately felt a shift and I felt, whew, this is really good. This is going to make quite a difference. She didn't feel anything right away, but she contacted me the next day and said that was the first time that she hadn't been suicidal in many months.
Wow.
Um, and then quickly she was able to discharge from, she was in a intensive day treatment program. She was able to discharge from that and just go to regular outpatient treatment. Now, she was still being followed by a psychiatrist and psychologist, which she needed for support, but was feeling so much better.
Wow. That's beautiful. Yay.
Yes, is right.
Yeah, yeah. I know sometimes we share with our practitioners that during the mini assessment, that we don't always want to like start healing left, right, and center. First of all, it'll take a long time. Second of all, people sometimes get such a shift that they think, "Oh, I'm done.
Yeah,
Nothing
right.
else to do." What whereas there's other layers like 10 years of
Yes,
this and childhood stuff with this and other
right,
trauma
right.
coming up. Entities is the one thing that I will tend to do as well,
Hmm.
on assessment, if it's there, like if it's there.
Yes,
And my way is like, well, I'm like, officially I'm healing the entity. So not not the potential client. And yeah, and usually that's at least with Topican, it's relatively quick and safe
yes,
to
yes,
do that. Yeah, so thank
yes.
you, Ron, for doing that. Um, so what kind of client or Topican client would be a good fit for you?
Yeah, I specialize in emotional healing and transformation. Um, I love working with men and women who really want to find that inner peace and happiness that they're looking for, especially in these difficult times.
Mm,
And, it's an honor to be able to help people uh, deal with the things that are coming up right now. Overall, I think we're in the middle of a major transformation for
yes.
humanity, right? And this is a good thing, but that making that transition can be challenging. And I just love helping people, supporting them in that process of transforming, leaving the old behind and moving forward with all the opportunities that are coming our way.
That's beautiful. And I think, given sensitive soul self and also being a man, who's acknowledging, accepting, and honoring one's sensitive soul self is super, super helpful because we don't always have a lot of guys who, at least publicly, right, want to acknowledge and accept that. So we need men like yourself to be like that model, if you will, of the new man, that
Yes,
like of
yes,
that powerful yet gentle and empowered man going forward. Whereas, sensitivity is not a weakness, but truly a superpower.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's super important. Thank you, Ron.
Yes. I love what I do. Yeah.
Yes, you clearly do. And so we're going to put some links below this video on how to connect with Ron, learn more about him. When people first come to, check to see if it's a fit, how does that work? You mentioned a call earlier.
Yeah, I offer a free 20-minute strategy call.
Mm,
And it's an opportunity for us to get to know each other, but also for us to come up with an idea of what your needs and wants are, and then how I might be able to help you reach those goals that you have.
okay. Okay, great. That's fantastic. So we're going to put the link below then, Ron. The video on how people can connect with you if they're feeling, resonant after watching this, so they can get on that strategy call and
Great.
see if it's a fit. That's really cool. And then, if you were to give like a kind of piece of advice to people, like a key piece of advice, like what would it be like going forward?
Don't ever give up. There's
Mm,
always hope. Yeah, because if we give up, nothing's going to change. Yeah, and there is an answer, no matter what it is we're dealing with.
hmm Very Topacani of you. I always believe that too. I love questions. So, oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Ron. Well, I really appreciate you spending your time with us today so we can get to know you better and, you spreading your light. So, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for all you do.
My pleasure. All right. And thanks everyone for checking in and listening and watching. And again, we'll put the links below where you connect with Ron if you feel resonance with this energy and would like to potentially work with them. So, again, thanks everyone. And until next time, much love.